Alex Pereira gets it done in one. And look, I'm not going to take a big victory lap on this. I did predict him to get a KO in round one, but it was kind of a timid prediction. I was a bit of a fence sitter. I was kind of playing both sides. But look, he defies reality. He is in that upper echelon of athletes, and not just combat sports, and in sports as a whole, with the Michael Jordans, with the Bradys, guys that just bend reality. Do they win every time? No. Nobody can win every game or every fight, but he bends reality. You know, that he loses his title at close to 40 years old, up a weight division, and then able to get it back in decisive fashion. And the loss to Magomed wasn't a fluke. It was a 5-round fight where Magomed had his number. It wasn't a flash KO in round one. He went from getting dominated to within 6 months having one of the most decisive wins in UFC history. I mean, it was all Pereira, never a doubt. Now, I do want to talk about something, and not a lot of people are discussing this. I think they're just in awe about the win, which is understandable, but Alex Pereira is 1 win away. And there's a few different 1 wins away that he could, but I'm specifically talking about if he were to beat Jon Jones at either light heavyweight or heavyweight. I don't really think it matters. Let's just say heavyweight for the sake of it, because I think that's more likely at Jon Jones' current state. But look, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Number one, you add to the already illustrious resume. I mean, this is one of the best resumes I have ever seen. Top notch. He's beaten 7 champions, 6 different champions, because he beat Yuri twice. And they're all by KO. This isn't a close split decision. This isn't a 48-47. This is decisive. 7 KOs over champions, that's unheard of. And if he were to beat Jon Jones, number one, Jon Jones is obviously the GOAT of combat sports currently. If he beats Jon Jones, number one, that brings Jon Jones down a peg. Now, he is older, but Pereira's also older. But Pereira would officially have 2 losses, one that's kind of a so-so loss, another suspect call in terms of the Dominic Reyes fight, and then he's got the no contest. So at that point, it's not as much of a clear-cut GOAT. And for Pereira to be that close and then beat Jones, I think it pushes him above Jones. And you got guys like Khabib, GSP, Mighty Mouse, and it's like, look, these guys are good. And if you want to make the argument that Khabib is the GOAT over Pereira, I could maybe see it. He's never lost. He's lost like a couple rounds. I do get that argument. But to say guys like GSP or Mighty Mouse are better than Pereira doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Look, Pereira, he has a better resume in terms of guys he's fought, the way he's beaten them. You know, a win is not a win in the UFC. A KO in the first round, especially a decisive KO, is a lot better than winning a 49-46 decision or a 48-47 decision. It's just not the same. It's not as dominant. It's not as decisive. There is no debate. You know, with a lot of these guys, but even Jon Jones, but in the lighter weight classes, you know, they get these decisions, and it's like people are debating. When you knock somebody out, there is no debate. So I think Pereira is probably at 2 all time with the wins he's got. 2 over Yuri, and Yuri's win over Roundtree makes Pereira's wins over Yuri look even better. He beat Roundtree. He's beaten Magomed. He also beat Izzy. He beat Sean Strickland. It's like, who is this guy not beating? And he's beaten them easily. He also beat Jan. And if he were able to get another dominant wrestler, I think Jan's a pretty solid wrestler. We can all agree. Magomed's a pretty good wrestler as well. If he can beat another wrestler in Jon Jones, that would be massive. Absolutely massive for his legacy. And look, there's a lot of people that aren't going to like me saying he's number 2 all time. Put the resumes up to each other. Look, he has 2 losses. I get that. One by KO, one by a relatively easy decision that Magomed got. But he didn't really avenge the Izzy loss because he beat him and then lost to him. But he avenged it in the sense that he went on to defend his title 3 or 4 times. And then the Magomed one he did avenge. And now I know GSP ended up avenging his wins too. But if we look at the competition, Pereira has better competition. There is no doubt about that. No doubt. The modern era, they're just better. Now, we have level of competition. Pereira wins. Way to victory. I think Pereira wins that too. You could make the argument that it's he's got no submissions. He's not taking guys to decision. He did take Jan to decision, but for the most part, you could make the argument against Pereira that we haven't seen him across 5 rounds very often. Well, we've only seen him once across 5 rounds to Magomed, and then the Izzy and the knockout win. But you could make that weird argument that, well, actually GSP is more impressive because he's won by knockout, he's won by submission, and he's won going to decision. It's like, I prefer knockout. So I think the way that Pereira wins is more impressive. And yeah, he does have the losses, but GSP also has the losses. And I think Pereira's losses to Izzy, especially where he was that drained and he'd already beaten Izzy 3 times. It's like you can only beat a guy so many times, especially if you're both a professional athlete. Same thing in professional sports. You can only beat a team if you beat them 10 times in a row. It's like it's inevitably you're going to lose a game. So I think Pereira is number 2 all time, and look, I want to see him. I want to see him fight Aspinall, if I'm being honest. But in terms of the GOAT discussion, if he beats Jones, I don't think there's a debate. I think it is Pereira cemented, stamped in history. I think he automatically becomes the GOAT. If he beats Aspinall, it would be a more impressive win in my mind. I think Aspinall is a better fighter currently than Jones. But the issue is that doesn't, you still have Jones kind of arguing that he's never lost. He does have the one loss from the 12-6 elbows. He also has a no contest. He also has the split decision victory over Reyes. So it's like, but if he loses to Pereira, then that's a lot of baggage on his resume.